Fear hovers in the air like a cloud, and we talk of nothing to pretend that the cloud is not there. Look for someone ripe and young, I advised Sihtric. That potter's daughter is ready to wed. She must be 13. She's stupid, Sihtric objected. And what are you, then? I demanded. I give you silver, and you pour it into the nearest open hole. Last time I saw her, she was wearing an arm ring I gave you. He sniffed, said nothing. His father had been Kjartan the Cruel, a Dane who had whelped Sihtric on one of his Saxon slaves. Yet Sihtric was a good boy, though in truth he was no longer a boy. He was a man who had stood in the shield wall, a man who had killed, a man who would kill again tonight. I'll find you a wife, I promised him. It was then we heard the screaming. It was faint because it came from very far off, a mere scratching noise in the darkness that told of pain and death to our south. There were screams and shouting. Women were screaming, and doubtless men were dying. God damn them, Ralla said bitterly. That's our job, I said curtly. We should, Ralla started, then thought better of speaking. I knew what he was going to say, that we should have gone to the village and protected it. But he knew what I would have answered. I would have told him that we did not know which village the Danes were going to attack, and even if I had known, I would not have protected it. We might have shielded the place if we had known where the attackers were going. I could have placed all my household troops in the small houses, and the moment the raiders came, erupted into the street with sword, axe, and spear, and we would have killed some of them. But in the dark many more would have escaped, and I did not want one to escape. I wanted every Dane, every Norseman, every raider dead. All of them except one, and that one I would send eastwards to tell the Viking camps on the banks of the Thames that Uhtred of Bebbanburg was waiting for them. Poor souls, Ralla muttered. To the south, through the tangle of black branches, I could see a red glow that betrayed burning thatch. The glow spread and grew brighter to lighten the winter sky beyond a row of coppiced trees. The glow reflected off my men's helmets, giving their metal a sheen of red, and I called for them to take the helmets off in case the enemy's sentries in the large ship ahead saw the reflected glimmer. I took off my own helmet with its silver wolf crest. I am Uhtred, Lord of Bebbanburg, and in those days I was a lord of war. I stood there in mail and leather, cloaked and armed, young and strong. I had half my household troops in Ralla's ship, while the other half were somewhere to the west, mounted on horses and under Finnan's command. Or I hoped they were waiting in the night-shrouded west. We in the ship had enjoyed the easier task, for we had slid down the dark river to find the enemy, while Finnan had been forced to lead his men across night-black country. But I trusted Finnan. He would be there, fidgeting, grimacing, waiting to unleash his sword. This was not our first attempt in that long wet winter to set an ambush on the Thames, but it was the first that promised success. Twice before I'd been told that Vikings had come through the gap in Lundine's broken bridge to raid the soft, plump villages of Wessex, and both times we had come down river and found nothing. But this time we had trapped the wolves. I touched the hilt of serpent breath, my sword, then touched the amulet of Thor's hammer that hung around my neck. Kill them all, I prayed to Thor. Kill them all but one. It must have been cold in that long night. Ice skimmed the dips in the fields where the river had flooded. But I do not remember the cold. I remember the anticipation. I touched serpent breath again, and it seemed to me that she quivered. I sometimes thought that blade sang. It was a thin, half-heard song, a keening noise, the song of the blade wanting blood, the sword song. We waited, and afterwards, when it was all over, Ralla told me